Hey guys, so today I'm going to be doing my February wrap up, and as you can see I have my new dog Leia in the video, and hopefully she will be distracted because I just gave her a bone. Also, I wanted to do a quick update on her separation anxiety, which I mentioned in her video about her. It has gotten so much better. She rarely cries anymore, and I think it's just because she's getting used to us and now she knows the routine. So I'm so glad it was just a phase because it was really heartbreaking to hear her bark and whine all the time whenever we would leave the room. But on to the books. So the first book that I have to talk about for February that I read was Be With You by J.L. Armentrout. I forget the actual name of this series. I'll put it maybe on the screen here when I research it after I film this video. But this book I really did enjoy. It followed the sister of Cam, which we read about Cam in the first book, and Cam and Avery, and it's about his sister and his best friend Jace. I wasn't expecting some of the events that took place in this book. It got very dark very quickly and covered topics of domestic abuse that I really wasn't expecting. I didn't enjoy the characters in this book as much as I enjoyed the characters in the first book because there was just something about Cam and Avery, which I don't think Jace, and I honestly forget her name right now. That's bad. I don't think there was as great as the chemistry between these two characters, but it still was a good book. I think I gave it 4 stars. So I enjoyed reading it, but it wasn't like the best thing I've ever read. And I will be continuing on with the series. The second book that I read in the month of February was Small Great Things, and I read this with the Murder Squad, which counts as a Murder Squad book because it is about a trial for murder, although it's not one of our typical Murder Squad reads. And universally, we all had issues with this book. It definitely covers the topic of race, but the way it's done, especially considering it's written by a white woman, I think was very fake and it was not authentic. At least that's the impression that I got from it. I didn't really feel secure in our main character, Ruth. The best way to describe it was that she really wasn't a fully developed character, and there were a lot of times that things she would say or things she would do seemed contradictory to things that she said she stood for. I definitely loved the courtroom drama aspect, but that only happened at the very end of the book. And I was under the impression that this book was going to be all about the courtroom when it really was about all the other characters and all their experiences with race and whatnot. The thing is, this book is really highly reviewed and it's really highly rated. I was looking very much forward to reading this book because I really do like her writing for the most part. The writing itself wasn't bad. I just think the subject matter could have been done differently, or maybe she just shouldn't have written this book involving the subject matter considering she is a privileged white woman. And next, I finally got around to reading Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. I bought this book last summer and I have been afraid to read it. So I'm not going to really discuss too much about this book because I am going to be doing a spoiler-free review for this book. But I gave it 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I loved the characters and I love the new plot that was developed in this story. I am very excited for the second book, and as soon as that book comes out I will be reading it. It's not going to be one of the books in a sequel that I just take my time getting around to. Also, the artwork is just, it's so beautiful. Keep a lookout for my review for this because I will be posting it later this week. Sidebar, I got some post-it notes, some of the little flags, because I wanted to use them in marking my books. I have only 2 flags in Lady Midnight. Oh, I put the cover on backwards. And then I just left them upstairs, and most of the time when I'm reading I'm downstairs, so I just didn't put any other flags in this book. And that's something that I do want to get better at, just because I do like reviewing books, but I do forget events that happen in books, and I want to remember the parts that really strike me. So in the future, I'm really going to be making an effort at using these flags, but I kind of failed miserably when it came to Lady Midnight. And finally, I finished up a Christian nonfiction book that I had been reading for quite a while. It's Wild Goose Chase by Mark Batterson, and this book is like a 5 out of 5 star read for me. I really enjoyed it. It's just about chasing the Holy Spirit, stepping out in faith, kind of being bold with your faith, and it's about that action behind it. So this was definitely a challenging read. My only complaint that I have for this book wasn't even about the subject matter. It was that when a verse would be mentioned in the book, instead of having the verse like right after like where it's found, like Luke 8:10 or whatever like that, it just has like a footnote, and I like to be able to know where the verse is because sometimes I'll pick up my Bible and kind of read that whole passage, but because the footnotes and the notes for the verses like were all at the back, it wasn't something that I was like flipping to the back to look for. So that was really my only complaint of this book, and that was just a formatting thing. Those are the books that I read in the month of February. It really wasn't a crazy busy reading month for me. I think partly because I got Leia, we got our new puppy, and she has been occupying a lot of my time, and when I sit down to read, it'll be all fine and then she'll wake up and she'll want to play, so it's been kind of sporadic with being able to read. I'm still really happy with what I've read, and I am very, very happy with my new puppy. So that's all that I have for this video. Thank you for watching and happy reading.